Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics, and tonight I've got a special guest joining me on the channel to help me preview this game between the North Queensland Cowboys and the New Zealand Warriors, round 3 for the game on Saturday. And Nick, welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you on again, and can't wait to preview this game with you. It's going to be a very interesting game on Saturday.
Mate, it's an honour to be here once again, bro. I haven't been on the channel for a while, but I've been enjoying your content as of late. It's been high class. It's been world-class content. And, mate, you deserve all the subscribers that you have, and I reckon you deserve a lot more as well. So shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for allowing me to come on your channel tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm sure a lot of people should know who Nick is. I mean, he's well known around the rugby league circle, content creators, one of the big content creators, and a great mate of mine as well. Got to meet Nick a few times as well in person. So, yeah, I mean, if you haven't already, I highly do recommend you go and subscribe to Nick from Australia's YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description down below as well. So, yeah, why don't we get into it? We're going to preview the game and go through, the team list and our predictions and all that, matchups and that. So, Why don't we go into the game now? And, Nick, I'll get you to go through the North Queensland Cowboys team list, and then I'll go through the away side, the Warriors team.
No, Warriors. So the Cowboys have got a few changes this week, obviously, with Scott Drinkwater suspended and Peter Hiku also suspended. So a couple of changes for the Cowboys. So at fullback, it is Tom Chester. On the wings, Kyle Felt and Murray Tuilagi. In the centres, it's Valentine Holmes and Jemet Shibasaki. In the halves, 5'8" Tom Deard and halfback Chad Townsend. The front row of Jordan McLean and Ruben Cotter. The hooker is Reece Robson. The second row of Cohen Hess and Jeremiah Nanai. The lock is Jason Taumalolo. And on the bench, it is Jake Granville, Griffin Neame, Jermaine Tanua-Brown, and James Tamo. And the 5 players in the reserves, 18th man is Helam Lukey. Jersey 19, Brendan Elliott. Jersey 20 is a guy by the name of Tanela Sudruku. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, I apologize. Jersey 21, Riley Price. Number 22, Mitch Dunn. And the coach is obviously Todd Payton.
Yeah, so onto the Warriors team list now, and I'll get this actually up on the screen here. So we've got a debutant actually at fullback this week, coming in for Chance Niku-Klugstad, who's got the still concussion. Obviously, he's not been able to, with the the standout with the period where you have to not be able to play. So, so Tane Tuapiki, is that fullback. He comes in for his first NRL game, making his debut. So for those of you who don't know who he is, he signed from the Burleigh Bears, the Queensland Cup side, and he's been elevated to the NRL 30-man squad this year, and he was very strong in that trial game against the Tigers. So good to see Tane Tuapiki get his debut in this one, and also Tohu Harris is playing his 200th NRL game this weekend. So massive milestone there. But so the wingers are Edward Cozy there, and Brandon Williami and Adam Pompey centres with him. Marcelo Montoya on the wing there, and you got Tamare Martin in the halves with Sean Johnson. Adam Fanua-Blake's the prop, and Wade Egan's the hooker. Bunty Afoa comes into the starting lineup this week, and he's in at the prop position. Second row, Mitchell Barnett moved to the second row there with Marata Niukore and Tohu Harris, who is playing his 200th NRL game. He's at lock. The bench reads Dylan Walker, Josh Curran, Bailey Surunen, and Tom Ale. And the reserves are Viliami Valia, Freddie Lussick, Ronald Volkman, and Jazz Tavanga as well, and Rocco Berry there. So those are the team lineups. So Nick, what are your thoughts on your side, the Cowboys, and the team they've named this week? Obviously, you got some players missing as well, with Scott Drinkwater out due to suspension, and what are your thoughts on the Cowboys team firstly?
Well, once I learned that Scott Drinkwater was suspended, I automatically knew Tom Chester was going to come in and play fullback after Peter Hiku's, small stint at fullback last week against the Broncos. It was obvious that Tom Chester was going to come in at fullback. So not surprising there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Tom Chesson goes. Obviously, he played the one game last year, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes, how he combines with Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend and Reece Robson in the spine. I think he'll do the job, but he will be targeted without a doubt from Sean Johnson on Saturday night. Also, obviously, Shibasaki in the centers. I was not expecting that. I thought Brendan Elliott was going to come in and play in that center position. The other alternative I thought was going to happen was maybe Murray Tuilagi could go to the centers, and that young Madriki fella, young Fijian guy from he played in the trials. I thought he might come on and play on the wing and put Tuilagi in the centers. But no, they've gone with a big body there in Shibasaki, which doesn't surprise me that much because they want a big size out there with Kyle Felt defending. So, look, it isn't the worst decision in the world, but I guess Todd Payton knows what he's doing. Who am I to question him after what he did with us last year? Everything else seems to be, as expected. Jermaine Tanua-Brown, I've been quite critical of Jermaine Tanua-Brown the start of the year. Round one, a game against Canberra where he let that try in against Emre Gula. I was disappointed with that, and so was Todd Payton. He said that in the press conference against the Raiders after we beat them in that one-point thriller. And last week, I thought Tanua-Brown, it wasn't just him, but he showed no impact, in my opinion, against the Broncos. Didn't offer a whole lot last week, and I'd like to see Riley Price come on the bench and actually debut for the club. I think Riley Price has got all the potential in the world, and if he gets a spot on that bench in the near future, he could make it his own. So I'd love to see Riley Price come in for Tanua-Brown. And look, the other thing that I will say about the Cowboys side is if James Tarmo is going to be on the bench, we got to play him. I think he played about 10 minutes against Canberra. I don't think Tarmo played a single minute last week against the Broncos. So if Tarmo is going to be on the bench, for God's sake, you got to use him. So outside of that, not much is surprising, although I do reckon Heilum Luki at 18th man, he may make a return, which would be massive for us because if you watched that Broncos-Cowboys game closely last week, you can see the Cowboys, they really missed the second rowers. Nanai had a good game, scoring 2 tries, but, as good as Cohen House is, and he does the job, we just missed that second row X factor with Nanai. You can't expect Nanai to do it all on his own. So if Lukey returns this weekend, massive in for us.
Yeah, well said there. And in regards to that game last week against the Broncos, you went down to that game at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. When you saw the Cowboys get off to a good start, what was your feeling like when they scored the first try? And it was a good start by your boys, but the Broncos just they bounced back from there. What were your overall feelings from how your team started to how the scoreboard ended up in the Broncos' favour?
Well, it's been a bit weird for us because the Cowboys, if you look at the Cowboys' history, they don't usually start games the greatest. Even when we won the premiership, the following year, 2016, there were some games there where we started off down 6-0, 4-0, even 8-0 sometimes to an extent. So we've never really been a team that starts really fast, 6, 8, 10-0 leads early on. But look, the Broncos game, it was a derby game. Form goes out the window when we play the Broncos. It doesn't matter if we're coming last or they're coming first, or we're coming first and they're coming last. It's always a big game. Form goes out the window. I thought 8-0 up was a good start, but it should have been more. Against Canberra round one, we started off really well, 18-0 up, 70% possession, and then we dropped that guard a little bit, and Canberra came back, but we just held on to win. And look, the Broncos game, it was a tough one. It really was. It wasn't our night. Our second half was quite poor. In saying that, it was 10-all until the sin bin did happen, and the sin bin was a game changer. The Broncos scored 2 tries. They scored 12 points in that time, and if you take that 12 points away from the sin bin, the scores are leveled up there at 16-all, really. So look, it is what it is. Credit to the Broncos. They deserve their win. I'm not concerned. I think we'll be fine. Couple of setbacks with a few players out with Drinkwater and Hiku, but I think we've got the depth. I think we've got the youth coming through. I think we'll be fine, but I just want us to sort out our bench a little bit. I like Granville and Neem off the bench. I like Tamo as well, but Tanil Brown needs to lift up this weekend. Because if Tanil Brown has another ordinary game, then I would like to see him dropped out of the side in general, to be honest.
Yeah, and look at the Cowboys team. Although they've got some outs, they've still got a very strong side. In my opinion, I reckon
definitely
a very good team. So even though they've got those outs like Drinkwater and who else got out? I forgot. Sorry,
Peter Hiku and look, bro.
That's right.
Bro, the thing is,
Warrior. Yep.
As long as the Cowboys have got Tamalolo, Did, and Holmes, all these match-winning players, the Cowboys will always be in the contest.
Yeah, and they're back home too, so they want to, right the wrongs of last week and perform in front of their home fans, which I'm sure the Cowboys have had a very good record at home last year because they were in the top four. So
very good.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a tough one for us as well because although I thought we played well against the Roosters, I mean, the defence and the resilience and the effort were there, but I think it was just our execution for me in our attack, which really let us down.
And the heat, bro. It was like 30 degrees at Allianz Stadium last week.
Yeah, and we had players come off, with HIAs. We had Jackson Ford coming off. We had C&K coming off as well. Forwards had to play a lot of minutes with Harris and that, and even Harris, he had to defend quite a lot, made a lot of tackles as well. So, we've got a debutant Tane to a Piggy who I rate pretty highly watching him through the Queensland Cup and the Burleigh Bears. And, I thought he was very good in that trial against the Tigers, although I know the Tigers didn't have their first-grade players out there, but, he can only perform what's in front of the field there. So, I reckon, he's a player to look out for me in terms of the Warriors this week. Still a bit iffy on our centres, still a bit of an iffy on our centres, like Braden Williami and Adam Pompey there. So, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Nick, on the Warriors last week? You did probably watch the Warriors Roosters game, but what are your thoughts on the Warriors going into this? Do you think that they have a chance this week, or do you think it's going to be one of those games where it'd be too difficult?
Well, so funny enough,
yeah,
I left Brisbane Saturday morning. I got home. I walked in my house about 2:45. So I got home, turned the TV on. The Warriors and Roosters were just running out on the field. So I got home just in time for kickoff. And I watched the entire game, and I learned it was 31 degrees at Allianz Stadium, and you could really see it was affecting the Warriors. The weather was absolutely affecting them badly. That they were sweating their ass off. Some of the players, I don't think they've ever played in that sort of conditions before. So, look, I thought the Warriors were very competitive last week, although their style of football in round one compared to round two, I found it was very different. It was a very different style of football compared to what they played against Newcastle. They're in round one. They were a chance last week. I mean, like you said, better execution, and they probably could have won the game. I think they're a chance this weekend, without a doubt. About the centers, Braden Williami and Adam Pompey, I can't believe that your coach, Andrew Webster, has somehow managed to keep Viliami Valia as your 18th man. I do not know why he's not in the 17. I think he's your best center out of the entire club. I honestly believe that. Yep. I don't understand why he's not there. No knock on Braden Williami, very experienced player, does the job, but Valia should be in the centers over Williami, without question. It's got me buggered why that is the case. Now, we spoke privately about this on Instagram, Fanatics. I think it was last week. Or it might have been the other day. Mitch Barnett's got to go back to the second row. and they've
Yep.
actually done it. I can't believe they actually did it. Mitch Barnett is a good recruitment for the Warriors. He's a great addition to the club, but he's not a prop forward. He never has been.
Yeah.
He never will be. He's a second rower or a lock. He's played second row majority of his career. I did not understand why he was playing front row. I just didn't understand it. I'm glad he's playing second row this week. That's a good thing for the Warriors. I think these are a big chance this weekend, and I'll tell you, the one player from the Warriors that gets me nervous, you want to know who that is? Tamari Martin.
Yeah.
Used to play for the Cowboys. It gets me nervous, Martin, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and on Valia, actually, there's been some rumours that his discipline, like just in terms of his training, that's not been great. So that's why that's why they've been starting Pompey in the centres. So because his defence is a bit, I don't know, they talk that Valia's defence is not great. So.
Come on. Defence. Yeah. Did they not see Braden Williami's defence on the weekend against the Roosters?
Yeah, I personally would have Valia in there over Pompey. In my opinion, I've always been a big fan of Valia.
No knock on Williami or Adam Pompey. They are very fine centres. They are very good players. They do the job. Yep. That's why they're in the team every week. But Williami Valia, he's such a weapon. Like, he's the future. I see him as the Warriors centre for the next 5 years. Now, if he's got discipline issues at training, then okay, that's fair enough. That's a fair reason the Warriors not been selected in the 17. But, gee whiz, that has to be the only reason he's not in the team, because he's so good. He's got to be in the team.
Yeah, I mean, even then, looking into our side, I mean, Dylan Walker coming off the bench, I thought he had a mixed game last week, unfortunately, but I thought he was strong in round one. But it's going to be interesting to see how they use him again this week in this game. And Wade Egan was very strong. You know, first 2 games of the season, despite the loss.
Best player, bro.
Yeah, best player on field. Exactly right. And some people go, highly critical of Wade Egan as a player, and I don't understand it personally. I
don't get that at all, bro.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, a lot of people expect, Wade Egan to be like a Brandon Smith or, a Damien Cook, but he's a totally different player. He's a totally different player to that. So
Wade Egan, in my opinion, would be in the top 3 most underrated hookers in the game. He is such a weapon.
And, yeah, you can see what he does defensively as well, Wade Egan especially, which is a big work rate when he defends very well also. So, yeah, I mean, other than, I reckon our side, I'm pretty happy with it overall. I'm just great to see Tane get his opportunity, and, not really more I could say. I mean, just it's a really strong side, despite some few outs as well. So, overall,
what's the go with What's the go with Jazz Tavaga? Was he not in the 17?
So Jazz Tavanga's coming off a injury in the last season. So he played New South Wales Cup last week for our Cup side who played the Roosters in that curtain raiser for the game. So. Jazz Tavanga's been named the reserves this week, so that'll be interesting to see whether he gets a late call up or something. But
I think he'll come in for Bailey Sheridan before kickoff.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a possibility though, and Bailey Sheridan maybe drop back to New South Wales Cup because I think they're playing this weekend as well. So yeah, I mean, I'll just go through the comments here. So Yoza saying I agree with Nick on Tamari. He needs more ball time. Yeah, I mean. Exactly right. And Tamari Martin, I think he's had a bit of a quiet start so far, but he's just trying to get into the rhythm, combine with Johnson, build those combinations. And I think with Tamari Martin, I think he can kick the ball a lot more. I mean, Sean Johnson does a lot of the kicking for us. I think
Sean Johnson's doing too much.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is for sure. He's doing a lot more kicking.
Take some pressure off him.
Exactly. That's what I reckon. I said in my previous video that he needs to, do a bit more kicking. Just
hey, bro, do you think Charles Nickel-Klukstad's not playing, and neither is Jackson Ford? Jackson Ford has been a shining light for you guys the first 2 rounds. Obviously, round 1 he had a blinder against Newcastle, and then he obviously got that early concussion. Bro, I reckon Jackson Ford and Charles Nickel-Klugstad are two massive outs for the Warriors.
Yeah, Jackson Ford has actually really impressed me. He surprised me, because coming into this off season, I wasn't too high on him.
Nobody was.
Yeah, I thought it was more like a depth signing, like a player that comes in when there's injuries or suspensions. But in the trials, he showed, great form, and he led it into the round 1 as well against the Knights. So, unfortunately for him, that round 2 match, he had to come off with an HIA, which is a shame because I think his form probably would have continued in that game if he didn't come off. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's a big out. It's definitely a big out. I mean, I probably wouldn't have said that in the off season, but he's a big out for sure. And although Mitchell Barnett, coming into the second row is a good handy player to come in.
Glad they did it. I'm so happy they did it.
Yeah. So, regards to the key matchups now. So, Nick, which key matchup are you looking for on the field in terms of like the battles, like between the forwards or the outside backs? What is your key matchup?
Oh, mate. There's some good ones this weekend, obviously. The first one that comes to mind is Reece Robson up against Wade Egan. Reece Robson's been talked about as the potential next New South Wales hooker. Robson versus Egan, I think that's a fantastic matchup Saturday night. I'm looking forward to Tom Dearden up against Tamare Martin as well. Another really good matchup right there. Taumalolo versus Tohu Harris. Tohu Harris' 200th game up against Taumalolo. He's ran for 200 metres, I think, in his first 2 games of the year. That'll be fantastic. And I think the other match I'm looking forward to was Adam Fanil-Blake up against Ruben Cotter. Cotter. Yep. What a play Ruben Cotter is, man.
Great play.
What a matchup that's going to be. Cotter versus Fanil-Blake.
Yeah, that matchup especially is a very mouth-watering matchup between those two good forwards. Adam Fanil-Blake last week, strong performance, in that heat against the Sydney Roosters, and Ruben Cotter, he had a great year last year, especially for you guys. So 100%. Played Origin as well, Ruben Cotter. So
and he played for Australia.
Exactly, yeah, Australia as well. So huge honours to represent your country and then represent your state as well. So that's a massive achievement for Ruben Cotter last year. So, for me, key matchups. Look at the key matchups for me for this game. I'll probably say, the likes of Mitchell Barnett and up against Cohen Hess there.
I think he's up against Nanai, bro, because Nanai will be on the right and Barnett will be on the left, I believe.
Oh, Jeremiah Nanai, yep. So Jeremiah Nanai, like you said there, Jeremiah Nanai up against Mitchell Barnett. Actually, I think that's a good matchup. And the fullbacks, that's going to be interesting as well. The two fullbacks, Tuapiki up against the new
Chester.
Chester, yeah, that's right, Chester. So up against them. So the 2 young guys actually.
They're both going to be targeted badly, bro. Like
they are.
Townsend and Dearden are going to put bombs up for that young Warriors fullback all day, and Johnson will probably do the same for Tom Chester.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's probably what will end up happening. But just go through the comments here. So Yoza's saying, I think they rest Jazz and low grades for now and get some games under his belt before coming back. Egan's playing well enough. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I think don't rush him back in if he's not fully fit yet. So, give him some match time first. I do agree on that one. But, just any other key matchups you are looking into in this one, or just the ones you mentioned?
It's not really a key matchup, bro, but I just had a look at the weather for Saturday. Yep. Now, I think the weather is going to play a major role in this game. And on Saturday in Townsville, it's going to be 32 degrees, sunny, and very hot. Now, the Warriors last week struggled in the heat, but they were very competitive, but they obviously ran out of stamina towards the end of the game. So, look, apparently it's going to be 32 there all week from today up until Sunday. There might be a bit of rain on Thursday night, but they say that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunny, 32 degrees. It's going to be bloody hot in Townsville, mate. Conditions suit the Cowboys to the moon. So if you're a Warriors supporter, you'd be a little bit worried about that. 32 degrees, hot, and it's a 4:30 kickoff in Queensland, so you'd think it'd still be around 29, 30 degrees by kickoff. So it's going to suit the Cowboys right to the moon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know what the plan is with the team, whether they're flying down a couple of days earlier or not. I'm not too sure.
I'd go up there 2 days early if it was me.
Yeah.
I'd go up there on Thursday.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'd be travelling a bit earlier, knowing the team. I think that's what they did before when they took on the Roosters there. So, yeah, we'll just look into the stats here. So the game stats, head-to-head stats between these two sides. So the Cowboys and Warriors have played 41 times, and the Cowboys have won 21, and the Warriors have won 20. There's been no draws. And, the last meeting was the Cowboys last year, 48-4 over the Warriors there. But, yeah, look, Warriors last season, completely different side to what they were last year. So, yeah, the Cowboys were very good last year especially, but, yeah, that Warriors team last year wasn't.
I think I read a stat. I think I read a stat today. The Warriors haven't won at Townsville since, I think it was 2019.
Yep.
I think that was the game where Tuivasa and Shaq put that step on Michael Morgan, and he did his peck.
Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, that was a game where we came up to the Townsville and just, I think we were written off by a lot of people, and we got the win.
Yeah, I think both sides were going pretty poor at the time. The Warriors, I think they were still a chance for finals at that point. It was 2019 to 2020. I can't remember which year it was, but I think that was the Warriors' last win at Townsville. So it's been a couple of years. You did beat us last year up at the Sunshine Coast in Golden Point with that field goal from Sean Johnson, no?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we beat you up in I think it was at Morden Daly Stadium actually in Redcliffe. So,
Redcliffe, that's where it was.
Yeah, Morden Daly Stadium, and then you guys I think we played you twice last year, so I don't know.
Yeah, we won 25. I don't know why
I don't know why it's on the NRL website. It's only got one. We played you once.
Yeah, it says here last meeting. It says Cowboys 48-4 last time. Yep. Then you guys won 25-24. Right. I think it was around 3 or 4 last year, or something around 5. It was one of the two. And we beat I think it was Indigenous round 2021, 29-28.
Yeah,
Townsville. So
yeah, they've actually been some close matchups with you guys. Actually, some very close battles between the Warriors and Cowboys.
As you're saying, bro, the head-to-head, we played 41 times. We've won 21. You guys have won 20. Cowboys and Warriors have always had some really good games over the years. So, I mean, 20 wins against us is a pretty good record.
It's not too bad, actually. I mean, I think majority of those wins may have come in New Zealand. I'm not too sure how it all works.
I'm not sure either.
How it all, is in total. But, yeah, so, Warriors, Cowboys, generally they're quite close games. I know that some games where there can be hidings, but, they are generally quite close. But, anyway, so looking into here, the strengths and weaknesses. So, what would you say is a strength and a weakness for both the Warriors and the Cowboys going into this one? Obviously, you got the Warriors. We could say they're 4-pack. Weakness, maybe the outside backs. But what would you say in regards to that?
Oh, look, I think with the Warriors, I think a couple of strengths is the bench. I think the impact of Dylan Walker and Josh Curran is very good for the Warriors. I'm surprised Curran's not starting. To be completely honest with you, but I like that off the bench. Curran off the bench, come on in the middle or on an edge and do a job. Dylan Walker, he makes a great impact off the bench every week when he comes on there for the Warriors. Another strength for them is, I think it's their unpredictability. What they can do, they can create something out of absolutely nothing. If you have a look at that try last week, I think it might have been Wade Egan's try where they that short ball, like that set play close to the line there. That come from absolutely nowhere. I didn't expect that at all. So I I think the unexpected, the unpredictability of the Warriors. I think their bench has a good impact, and I think Wade Egan and Fanil Blake as a combination is getting better as well. So they've got a lot of strengths in there. If weaknesses, bro, for the Warriors, look, I think one-on-one defense. Sean Johnson and Tamari Martin one-on-one defensively. Question marks usually get raised about that. And look, I think their outside backs probably are a weakness compared to the Cowboys. You know, you got Valentine Holmes, Murray Tuilagi on that left edge. We all know how strike they are. So Pompey's going to have to defend very well, and so is Edward Cossey. I think the Warriors, probably their edge defense is a bit of a concern. Like you watched the Roosters game last week against the Warriors. How many times did the Roosters make line breaks on that left side with Suoliti? So the Warriors are going to have to try and contain Val Holmes because Val Holmes is due for a massive game.
Yeah, and I like what you said there in regards to how centres mark up defensively as well. And look, I think defensively last week, I don't think we were too bad, and it's still 20 points that Roosters scored. But I think defensively we've been not too bad so far. But obviously we're going to have to be a lot better in that area as well. So you've got to also look at our attack as well, which I think is a bit of a weakness so far for me. Is our attack.
It's a bit slow, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that needs to be sorted out, and getting the opportunities when we get them, just don't make those mistakes like we did against the Roosters where there was no one at dummy half, and I found that was a bizarre mistake that, we should not have made, and another mistake with Walker made a mistake as well, but, it's not, every part of the game you need to make sure you get right, against this Cowboys team because they're very talented side, the Cowboys, and although they've, lost against the Broncos last week, you kind of expect them to come out firing this week in this game. So regards to the betting prices, actually, this is very interesting. So it says here on the screen here, so Cowboys paying $1.42 sports bet. The Warriors paying $2.90 there. So what's your thoughts on that? Just quickly on the betting prices there, because obviously they're going to have the Warriors as outsiders. Yep.
$2.90 for the Warriors ain't bad. They've been backed in. I think they were about $3.10 a couple hours ago. So they've been backed in a little bit, which is quite interesting. I think $1.40 for the Cowboys is probably about right, especially with the players we got out, Drinkwater and Hiku, and potentially the return of Hilam Lukey. But look, I think the prices are about right. Warriors, around that $2.70 to $3 mark seems pretty accurate, so I think they've got the odds about right. Yeah.
So moving on now to the predictions. Now, so the final part of the previous predictions for the game. So, Nick, what's your final thoughts on this and your predictions in terms of who's going to win and try scorers as well?
Yeah, look, obviously I'll be backing the Cowboys to win, but I've seen a lot of people out there on social media saying, Cowboys will win by 20, 30, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see that happening. I think with Drinkwater not being available, with Peter Hiku being suspended, the Warriors have shown some really promising signs, I should say, the first two rounds of the football. I think this game will be closer than people think. I will go the Cowboys by 12. I think a 12-point win up at Townsville in the 32-degree hot conditions is probably a fair result. I don't think the Warriors would mind a 1-12 defeat, even especially in the heat up there. And with the players the Warriors got out, I'll go the Cowboys by 12. If I had to go for a scoreline, I'll go 26 points to 14. I think that's a pretty good scoreline. We'll probably score 4 or 5 tries. Warriors might get 2 or 3, depending on goal kicking and whatnot. So I'll go to Cowboys 26 to 14. First try scorer, I'm going to go a little bit bold here at Warriors Fanatics. I'm going to go Ruben Cotter to score the first try. It doesn't happen very often, so I'm just going to throw that in there as a first try scorer. And you know what? I reckon Valentine Holmes might get a double on Saturday. I think Val is due for a big game. I think we'll be targeting the Warriors' right side. Right side defense, I think the Cowboys' left edge will go there a lot. The Roosters had a lot of success on that side, and I think Newcastle also scored 2 tries down that side in round 1 with Homer Hunt and Lachlan Fitzgibbon. So the Warriors' right side defense has been a weak link for the Warriors the first 2 rounds. So I got 12. Ruben Cotter, first try scorer. Valentine Holmes to get a double. Cowboys to win. Should be a very competitive game, though.
Yeah, look, I'm going to probably, I've got to back my team in. Yeah, so I've got to back the boys in. Look, head saying Cowboys, but heart is obviously going to be the Warriors. So I'm going to go with my heart here. So I'm going to go with the Warriors to win. I'll say Warriors by 6. Warriors by 6 in a close one. Yeah, so Warriors 24-16. For me, try scorers, I'll probably say the Cowboys will score first in this one, actually. Cole Felt on the wing there.
Yeah.
And Murray Talangi as well. Murray Talangi. As for the Warriors, I'll probably say Edward Cozy to score, and why not throw in the fullback, actually, on debut to score. Yeah.
The young gun.
Yeah, Tuapiki to score on debut. Yeah, so obviously I've gone with the Warriors there by 6, and you've gone with the Cowboys there by 12. So, look, it's great to have you on the channel tonight for the preview, and all the best to your boys, and may the best team win on Saturday afternoon.
Mate, it's been great to be on your channel once again, bro. I appreciate the invite. I'll have to get you on my channel very soon, and hopefully there's no referee controversy in this game. Yeah. Hopefully it's the players that decide the game, and may the best team win, bro. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming on, and it's going to be a good game actually. I really reckon it's going to be a very competitive match. I think the Warriors can definitely go up there and give it their all. And look, as long as they put in the effort, I'll be very proud. Regardless. So, yeah, hopefully we get the win. But look, if we don't get the win and we just put in a good effort, I'll be happy nonetheless. So, yeah, thanks Nick for coming on. Go and check out his YouTube channel. Subscribe to his channel. I'll put a link in the description down below. And don't forget as well to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my channel as well. I'm on the road to 3K subscribers. And make sure you like the stream. Don't forget to put the thumbs up on the stream. Share the stream around. And thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. And I'll see you all in the next video and live stream. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night.